Okay, let's start with what a product manager actually does. Simply put, they are the voice of the customer and the driving force behind a product's success. Think of them as orchestrators. They figure out what needs to be built, why it's important for users, and then constantly look at how things are going, adjusting along the way. It's really about understanding your customers deeply, having a clear vision for the product, and using data to guide your decisions. Okay, let's talk about what a product manager actually does. Think of yourself as the champion for your product. You're constantly looking at the big picture. Your job is to figure out what problems we're solving and why it matters. You have several key roles. You need to be a visionary, setting the overall strategy and roadmap. You also have to be an advocate for your customers, really understanding what they want and need. Then there's requirement gathering, turning that customer empathy into concrete steps for the team. And of course, prioritization is huge. You'll constantly make tough calls about what gets built first. Finally, you're a key collaborator, working seamlessly with everyone involved in bringing the product to life. Okay, so a product manager is really focused on the why what problem are we solving for our users. They're thinking about the big picture, what product should we build, and how will it create value for the business. They'll spend their time understanding user needs, defining the roadmap, and prioritizing features. On the other hand, a project manager is all about the responsible for getting things done efficiently. They plan the execution of a specific project, manage timelines and resources, and make sure everything stays on track. Think of it like this: the product manager decides what to build, and the project manager figures out how to build it. Okay, let's talk about product lifecycle management. It's a big one for product managers. Basically, it's not just about building a great product. It's about knowing when to build it, how long it will live, and how to manage its journey through different stages. We typically break this down into 5 key phases. First, you have ideation, brainstorming, and figuring out if there's really a need for your idea. Then comes development/design, where you turn that idea into something real, often starting with an MVP or prototype. Launch is when you introduce it to the world. Growth focuses on scaling up, getting more users, adding features based on what people are actually doing. And finally, there's maintenance and retirement, patching bugs, providing support, and eventually saying goodbye when it's time to move on. Managing these stages effectively helps ensure your product has a good balance of investment and longevity. Okay, so let's talk about how we make sure we're building something people actually want. This slide breaks down the crucial steps of idea validation and market research. First, we need to really understand our target audience. Who are they? What problems do they have? And what other solutions are out there already? That's where market research comes in. It's about digging deep into your potential customers and competitors. Then, once you've got a solid idea of the market, it's time to validate that idea itself. This means testing it with real people, not just asking if they like it, but seeing if they're actually willing to use it or even pay for it. We often start with things like landing pages to gauge interest and then move on to building a minimal version of the product and an MVP to get more feedback. Okay, let's talk about product discovery. It's essentially how we figure out what to build and why. It's not just throwing ideas at the wall and hoping something sticks. Instead, it's a really important process of learning about your users and their challenges. We start by deeply understanding who they are through research, talking to them directly, running surveys, all that good stuff. Then, we clearly define the problem we're trying to solve, framing it around their needs. Next, we generate lots of ideas, no bad idea at this stage. Finally, we build some quick prototypes and test those ideas with users to see if they're actually useful. Okay, let's talk about finding the real issues and spotting potential wins. As product managers, we need to move beyond just noticing something's not quite right. The first step is all about understanding why it's not working. We start by gathering data, looking at what users are saying, where they're getting stuck, and how things are actually being used. It's super important to define the problem clearly, framing it in a way that's something we can actually fix. Then, we need to think about what could be better, exploring different opportunities. But don't just jump at the first idea. We always want to prioritize those ideas based on how much impact they'll have and how easy they are to implement. Essentially, a solid problem statement and a clear understanding of the potential upsides are key to building great products. Okay, let's talk about how we really get to know our users. User research is absolutely critical for building successful products. We've got 3 main tools in our toolbox today. Interviews. These are fantastic for digging deep and understanding why people do what they do. Surveys help us collect broad opinions from a lot of people quickly. And finally, analytics gives us hard data about how people actually interact with our product. It's all about combining qualitative insights with quantitative data to make informed decisions. Okay, let's talk about understanding the competition. This slide focuses on competitive analysis and benchmarking, essentially figuring out who you're up against and how you measure up. First, we identify direct competitors, those offering similar products. Then, we also look at indirect competitors, those addressing the same customer need in a different way. We want to dig into competitor websites, marketing materials, and even read what customers are saying about them. Industry reports can give us broader context too. Benchmarking is all about comparing your product to industry best practices. It's not just about copying others, but learning from their successes and failures. Okay, let's talk about how product managers set the stage for success. The very first thing we need to do is define our product vision. That's basically our long-term dream for what this product will become and who it'll help. It's a really aspirational statement that captures the why behind everything we're doing. Then, we build a strategy around the vision. It's like our roadmap detailing how we'll actually get there, including focusing on specific customers and highlighting what makes us stand out from the competition. We want to be asking ourselves some key questions. What problem are we really solving? Who is this product for? And most importantly, how will we know if we're succeeding? Okay, let's talk about product roadmaps. Think of them as your product strategic compass. They aren't just lists of tasks, they show why you're building what you're building and how it all fits together over time. A good roadmap typically starts with a clear vision and goals. What are we ultimately trying to achieve? Then, we break things down into larger themes or epics, like improving the user experience or boosting performance. These themes then get broken down further into specific features. Finally, we add a timeline, usually showing these items on a quarterly basis. There are different roadmap styles too: time-based for quick overviews, theme-based to highlight strategic areas, and now/next/later to prioritize what's happening now versus later. Just remember that roadmaps aren't set in stone, they need to be flexible and adapt as you get more information. Okay team, let's talk about how product managers decide what to actually build. It's not just about having a great idea. We need systems for prioritizing features. First up is RICE: reach, impact, confidence and effort. It gives you a single score to compare all your potential features. Then there's MOSCOW: must have, should have, could have, won't have. It helps focus on the absolute essentials. Next, we have the Kono model, which looks at how features impact customer satisfaction by categorizing them into different types of needs. Finally, value vs effort is a simple two-to matrix that really highlights which projects will deliver the most bang for your buck. By understanding these frameworks, you'll be able to make data-driven decisions and get more done. Okay, let's talk about setting goals as a product manager. First, you need to define why you're building something. That's your product goal. It should be big picture and describe the desired outcome. Think of it like setting the destination on a road trip. Then, to make sure we're actually moving towards that goal, we use OKR. These are objectives and key results. They are measurable steps that tell us how we'll get there. For example, an objective might be improve user onboarding, and a key result could be increase activation rate from 10% to 25% in Q3. It's all about making those big goals tangible and trackable. Okay, let's talk about MVP. Think of it like this. You don't want to pour all your resources into building a fully featured product before you even know if anyone wants it. An MVP is the smallest possible version that allows you to test your core idea and get valuable feedback from real users. It's not about perfection, it's about learning fast, build something, see what people do with it, and then improve based on their reactions. The key is focusing on the most important problem you are solving and quickly iterating until you have a product that resonates with your target audience. Okay, let's talk about backlog management. It's absolutely crucial for any product manager. Think of the product backlog as a prioritized list of everything that needs to be done on your product. It's not set in stone, it's constantly being updated and refined. Now, grooming is basically how we keep that backlog healthy and ready for the team to work with. Regular grooming sessions are key. They're short meetings where we discuss each item, clarify requirements, and make sure everything is still relevant and prioritized. We use different techniques like MOSCOW prioritization or breaking down big ideas into smaller, manageable stories. And don't forget estimating. Knowing how much effort something will take helps with planning. It really prevents that haystack of features problem. Okay, so when we're talking about product management and Agile, it's all about getting things done right, not just doing them. First thing is really understanding your customer, constantly checking in to make sure you're building the right product for them. We work in short cycles, called sprints, which are usually around 2 or 4 weeks long. Each sprint delivers something tangible. Collaboration is huge too. Product managers aren't isolated. We're working with developers, designers, everyone involved. And because things change all the time, we need to be flexible and adapt our plans when necessary. Finally, we regularly reflect on what worked well and what could improve through retrospectives. Okay, let's talk about how product managers can choose the right approach to managing a project. We'll look at 3 popular frameworks: Scrum, Kanban, and SAFe. Scrum is all about short, focused cycles called sprints. It's super structured with roles like product owner and scrum master and events that keep everyone aligned. Think of it as a really well-organized way to build things iteratively. Next up, we have Kanban. This framework uses a visual board to track what's in progress, focusing on continuous flow and limiting the amount of work teams are tackling at once. It's great for flexibility. Finally, there's SAFe Scaled Agile Framework. This is designed for when you need to scale Agile practices across huge organizations, bringing together elements from Scrum and Kanban along with Lean principles. Choosing the right one depends on your project size and complexity. Okay, so as a product manager, you're going to be spending a lot of time working with different teams. It's not about being in charge of everyone, but about understanding each team's role. Engineers build the product, designers make it beautiful and user-friendly, marketing gets the word out, sales closes deals, and customer support keeps things running smoothly. The most important thing: communication. Make sure everyone is on the same page with clear goals, regular updates, and a place where everyone can see what's going on, like a product roadmap. And you'll likely be in the middle of disagreements. Don't just say no. Try to understand why each team wants something different, and find a solution that benefits the product as a whole. Finally, keep an eye on how things are going with shared metrics so you can see what's working and adjust your strategy accordingly. Okay, let's talk about how product managers work with the UI/UX design team. It's really important that these two groups are on the same page. It's not about telling designers what to do, but about building a great experience together. First, you need to deeply understand your users through UX research. Share the bigger picture, like your product strategy and roadmap, so designers know where things are headed. Then, get involved in design reviews, offering feedback on whether the designs make sense for the market and align with your overall goals. It's also key to have shared metrics like how many people are actually using a feature to keep everyone focused on what matters most. Finally, don't be afraid of an iterative process. Prototype early, test frequently, and adjust as you go based on user feedback. Okay, let's talk about how product managers work with engineering and quality assurance teams. It's absolutely vital that these groups are on the same page from the start. A good PM translates what users actually need into clear, actionable requirements for the engineers to build and ensures QA has everything they need to test effectively. We'll have a look at how this collaboration happens in practice, focusing on understanding those needs, participating in sprint planning, getting regular feedback, and keeping everyone informed with shared documentation. Okay, let's talk about how product managers work with their core teams. You'll be spending lot of time collaborating with sales. They need to really understand what you're building and why it matters to customers. Make sure you're giving them the tools they need to sell effectively, like demos and compelling case studies. Next up is marketing. They're responsible for getting the word out about your product. Work closely with them on messaging and positioning, aligning everything so that it clearly communicates the value of what you've created. Finally, customer support. They're on the front lines, hearing directly from users. Listen to their feedback, prioritize bug fixes, and always advocate for the customer in your roadmap decisions. Okay, let's talk about gathering requirements. It's absolutely crucial to a product manager's job. Basically, you need to figure out exactly what needs building and why. You'll spend a lot of time talking to different people, users, sales teams, marketing folks, all to understand their needs and pain points. User research is important too. Think surveys, testing, and looking at how your competitors are doing things. Then you'll document everything in a way that everyone can understand, typically using user stories or diagrams like flowcharts. Finally, it's vital to prioritize those requirements. What must be included versus what would be nice to have. Okay, let's talk about user stories and acceptance criteria. They're absolutely vital in product management. Think of user stories as brief snapshots from the customer's point of view, describing what they want to achieve. For example, as a customer, I want to be able to reset my password. Then we need acceptance criteria. These are like guardrails that tell us exactly when a story is truly done. Things like, given I'm on the login page, when I click forgot password, then I should receive an email with the password reset link. We'll use a simple template to help structure them, outlining who wants what and why, followed by specific conditions for success. This ensures everyone, developers, designers, stakeholders, is on the same page. Okay, let's talk about how product managers break down big goals into manageable pieces. We start with an epic, a really large chunk of work that represents a major improvement or feature we want to deliver. It's all about the what. Then we drill down to features, which are specific, individual parts of that epic. Think of them as smaller components. And finally, we get to tasks. These are the super detailed, actionable steps needed to actually build those features. It's like a layered approach. Each layer builds on the one below it, ensuring everyone is aligned and focused. Okay, let's talk about how product managers can really bring their ideas to life, and it all starts with prototyping and wireframing. We've got a few fantastic tools that make this process easier than ever. Figma is like your digital design studio. It's amazing for creating detailed prototypes and collaborating with designers as a team. Miro, on the other hand, is a fantastic whiteboard tool. Think of it as a virtual brainstorming space where you can map out user flows and really visualize how things will work. And then there's Balsamiq wireframes. This one's all about speed. It focuses on creating quick, low-fidelity sketches to get your core concepts validated before investing too much time in detailed design. Okay, let's talk about customer journey mapping. Essentially, it's like creating a detailed picture of how your customers move through their interaction with your product from the moment they first hear about you to becoming a loyal fan. We break this process down into stages. Think awareness, consideration, purchase, and then all the ways they actually use the product and whether they stick around. We map out where they are interacting with you at each stage, what emotions they're feeling. Are they frustrated, excited? And crucially, we identify any pain points or obstacles that are holding them back. Finally, this helps us brainstorm how to make things better and prioritize features that really resonate with our customers. Let's talk about understanding our users. A key part of being a great product manager is getting inside their heads. That's where user personas come in. Think of them as detailed profiles of your ideal customers based on real data and research. We create these to keep us focused. Alongside personas, we use empathy mapping. It's a fantastic tool that helps us visualize how users think feel and do when interacting with our product or service. Essentially, it's about stepping into their shoes and understanding the world from what they say to how they actually behave. Okay, let's talk about prioritizing features. It's a core part of being a product manager. You're constantly presented with new ideas, and not everyone is going to make the cut. We start by gathering information from everywhere your users, your team, market research, basically anything that can tell you what people want or need. Then we use a scoring system like RICE Reach, Impact, Confidence, and Effort to objectively rank those features. It helps remove bias. But even with a score, there are almost always trade-offs. Choosing one feature means you're potentially sacrificing another. So, it's really about understanding what you're giving up when you make a decision and clearly communicating why you chose the path you did. Okay, let's talk about getting your product out there. This slide is all about how we plan the rollout. It's not enough to just build something amazing. You need a smart strategy to get it in front of the people who will love it. We start with understanding our customers and what they want, then craft clear messaging that resonates, picking the right channels to reach them, and creating a detailed timeline to keep everything on track. Think of it as building a roadmap for success. Okay, let's talk about A/B testing, a really valuable tool for product managers. Essentially, it's how we figure out what works best by comparing two versions of something. We start with a question like, does changing the color of our sign-up button lead to more sign-ups? Then, we randomly split our users into groups and show each group either version or version B. We carefully track key metrics and see which version performs better using statistical analysis. It's not just about testing one thing at a time, it's really about having a culture of continuous experimentation to keep improving your product. Okay, so let's talk about how data plays a huge role in being a great product manager. Basically, analytics help us move beyond guessing what users want and actually understand how they're using our product. They show us patterns, like where people are getting stuck or which features they love the most. We need to track some key metrics, things like how many new users are successfully signing up, how often those users come back, and whether they are leaving. Measuring customer lifetime value and net promoter score can give you a really good picture of overall satisfaction and potential revenue. The important thing is to make sure the KPI you're tracking actually align with your product goals. Don't just collect data for data's sake. Okay, let's talk about how product managers use data to make the best choices for their products. It really comes down to understanding a few key things. First, figuring out which metrics actually matter most. Then it's all about gathering the data, using tools like Google Analytics or whatever your product has built in. The important part is digging deep and finding those trends and insights. Are people not using a certain feature? Are they dropping off at a particular point in the process? And finally, we always want to test our ideas. A/B testing can really help us validate if our assumptions are correct. Okay, so let's talk about getting user feedback. It's absolutely crucial for any product manager. Think of it as the heartbeat of your product. You need to listen closely to understand what people are actually experiencing. There are several ways to gather this input, from in-depth interviews where you can really dig into their motivations to quick surveys and usability testing to spot pain points. Don't forget social media monitoring too. Once you've collected all that feedback, you need a system for managing it. Centralize everything in one place, prioritize the most important issues based on impact and effort, and then be sure to assign ownership so things get done. And most importantly, always close the loop with users and let them know you've heard them and what you're doing about it. Okay, let's talk about how product managers keep products sharp. It's all about continuous loop. We start by asking ourselves, what can we improve? Then, we gather data to see what's really happening. Once we have some insights, we test out new ideas and implement changes, but carefully. It's not enough just to make changes. You need to actually measure if they worked. Finally, after reviewing the results, we learn from it all and start the cycle again. This continuous feedback loop is what allows us to build products that truly meet user needs over time. Okay, so let's talk about churn and retention, really important stuff for any product manager. Basically, we need to understand why people are leaving our product and what we can do to keep them around. We'll look at some key metrics like churn rate, which is the percentage of customers who stop using us over a certain period. Then there's retention rate, it's just the opposite, measuring how many stick with us. Customer lifetime value helps us see the bigger picture, how much value each customer brings to our business long term. And finally, Net Promoter Score tells us how likely people are to recommend us. When we look at churn, we need to dig into why customers are leaving. Things like a difficult onboarding experience, missing features they really want, or maybe even pricing problems can all be factors. It's about identifying the root causes so you can make data-driven decisions to improve your product and keep those valuable customers happy. Okay, let's talk about growth hacking. It's a really exciting approach for product managers looking to boost user acquisition. Essentially, it's not just about traditional marketing campaigns, it's about finding clever, low-cost ways to get your product in front of more people and encourage them to spread the word. We're talking viral loops where users invite their friends, powerful content that attracts potential customers, smart SEO and ASO strategies, collaborations with other products, and crucially constantly testing everything through a /B test to see what really works. Okay, so as a product manager, understanding how you'll make money from your product is crucial. We've got three main approaches: freemium, think offering a basic version for free and then charging for extra features. Subscription models are all about recurring payments, like a monthly fee, which gives you a steady income stream if you can keep users happy. And lastly, there's ad-based, where you earn money by showing ads within your product that works best with lots of users interacting regularly. Okay, let's talk about how we measure if our product is actually connecting with the market. We use a bunch of key metrics to track this. First up, there's activation rate. That's how many users are actually doing something valuable after they sign up, like adding an item to their cart or finishing the onboarding process. The higher the rate, the better. Next, we look at retention, basically how long people stick around and keep using our product. We track this over different periods like 30 days or 90 days. Finally, customer lifetime value is a big one, predicting how much revenue a single user will bring in throughout their relationship with us. Remember, these metrics aren't isolated. Improving one often helps improve others. It's all about the bigger picture. Okay, so let's talk about how product managers and marketing teams need to be working together really well. It's not just about separate departments, it's about a unified strategy. Think of the PM as being deeply rooted in understanding we're building all the user feedback, market trends, and data, and the marketing team is focused on we get that amazing product into the hands of our ideal customers. Collaboration starts with sharing those insights. They need to be talking about what people are saying, what problems they're trying to solve, and how the market is shifting. Then, you work together to craft a clear message, what makes this product special. And finally, you build a coordinated go-to-market plan. It's all about timing and making sure everyone is on the same page. Alright team, let's talk about how product managers keep everyone informed about the roadmap. It's really important to be crystal clear. A shared understanding of where we're going is key. We need to segment our stakeholders. Not everyone needs every detail. Think about who's most affected by decisions and tailor your communication accordingly. Then choose the right channel. Email can work for some groups, while Slack might be better for quick updates. Transparency is also huge. If priorities change, explain why and how it impacts people. And finally, stick to a regular cadence. Consistent updates are much more effective than one massive presentation every few months. Okay, so let's talk about one of the biggest challenges PM face: juggling competing demands. It's totally normal to feel like you're spinning plates. The key is to have a structured approach. Start with prioritization frameworks like MoSCoW or RICE to make data-driven decisions. Then, keep everyone in the loop by being super transparent about your priorities and why they're important. Negotiation skills are essential. Don't be afraid to politely decline requests that aren't aligned with your overall goals. And finally, think strategically about how you're using your team's resources. A Kanban board can really help with this. Remember, saying no isn't failure, it's protecting the product. Okay, let's talk about how product managers handle tricky situations, specifically conflicts, and when to step up and escalate things. The first thing is to be really aware of potential problems early on by staying connected with everyone involved. When a disagreement pops up, it's super important to actually listen to understand where each person is coming from. Keep good notes about what's happening, that way you can always refer back to the details if needed. As a PM, you often get to be the one making the final call, so make sure your decisions are based on solid data and the overall product strategy. And remember, escalation isn't failure, it's recognizing when you need support from a higher level. Okay, let's talk about PRD, product requirements document. Think of them as the blueprints for your product. They're super important because they make sure everyone on the team is aligned on what we're building and why. A good PRD will start with a clear problem statement. What are we actually trying to solve? Then, we'll set goals, measurable outcomes that tell us if we were successful. We need to know who our users are too, and what they need. The document then outlines the proposed solution, breaks down features into specifics, and sets criteria for when it's ready to go live. Okay, let's talk about usability testing, a crucial part of product development. First, we need to plan carefully. We'll start by defining what we want to learn. What specific user behaviors are we looking at? Then, we'll recruit the right users who represent our target audience. Next up are tasks. These should be realistic scenarios users would actually encounter when using our product. Don't try to test everything at once. 3-5 focused tasks is a good starting point. We'll also consider different testing methods, like moderated or unmoderated sessions. And of course, we need a script to keep things consistent. Once the testing is done, it's time to interpret the results. We want to quantify what happened, how many people completed each task, and how long did it take. But don't just look at numbers, pay attention to what users are saying and doing. Identify the biggest problems, prioritize them based on their impact, and then document everything clearly in a report with recommendations for improvement. Okay, let's talk about how we measure customer satisfaction. We use two main scores, CSAT and NPS. CSAT is all about looking at individual support interactions, like after you've spoken to someone on the help desk. It's a quick way to see if that interaction went well, using a simple scale. Then there's NPS, which asks customers how likely they are to recommend our product. It's a broader measure of loyalty and can tell us a lot about whether people love what we're doing or need some tweaking. Essentially, CSAT is about immediate satisfaction, while NPS looks at long-term loyalty. Okay, so let's talk about pricing. It's a huge part of being a product manager, often overlooked, but absolutely essential. The most basic approach is cost-plus pricing, where you just add a percentage to your costs. That's fine for some products, but rarely reflects what customers are actually willing to pay. The real magic happens with value-based pricing. This means figuring out how much your customers see your product as worth and setting the price accordingly. Then, you'll also need to consider what your competitors are doing. Competitive pricing is a key factor too. Finally, remember that who you're selling to, where your product fits in the market, and the competition all play a role. Okay, let's talk about how to make sure your product stands out. We call this product positioning and differentiation. Basically, it's all about how you want customers to think about your product compared to the competition. It's not enough for a product to just be good, people need to understand why they should choose yours. We start by really understanding who we're selling to, what are their biggest needs and frustrations. Then, we dig into our competitors, what are they saying, and how can we do it better or differently. Finally, we nailed down a clear, unique value proposition, which is that one thing your product offers that no other does. And all of this comes together in a concise positioning statement, a little sentence that explains everything. Okay, so let's talk about SWOT analysis. It's a really helpful tool for product managers. Think of it as a quick snapshot of where we are and where we might be headed. We break things down into 4 categories: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths are the things we do really well, like maybe having a unique feature or loyal customer base. Weaknesses are areas where we could improve, things that hold us back. Then there's what's happening around us. Opportunities, these are favorable trends or new markets we can take advantage of. Finally, threats represent anything outside our control that could negatively impact the product. Okay, let's talk about voice of the customer, or VOC. Think of these programs as your direct line to what your customers actually want and need. It's not just guessing, it's a structured way to gather feedback from various sources like surveys, interviews, and even monitoring social media. We break down this feedback into segments based on who the customer is, then we analyze those themes. Are people really struggling with one particular thing? And finally, we take that insight and turn it into tangible product improvements. A good VOC program isn't just about collecting data, it's all about using it to make better product decisions. Okay, let's talk about managing product design sprints. These are super valuable for quickly testing out ideas and getting solid feedback. First, you need a really clear goal. What problem are you trying to solve during the sprint? Then assemble your team with diverse roles like facilitator, designer, researcher, and developer. Don't forget time boxing, sticking to the 5 stages. Understand the problem, define it clearly, sketch out some ideas, make a decision on which direction to go, and finally build a quick prototype. Keep things tight with short daily stand-ups, and always end with a sprint review where you demo your prototype to stakeholders and get their feedback. Ultimately, a well-run design sprint helps you learn fast and avoid big mistakes. Alright team, let's talk about getting your product into the hands of real users. After all that hard work building it, we need to validate our assumptions. Beta testing is where we bring in a small group, think 50 to 200 people who are representative of your target audience. We're not looking for perfection here, we are hunting down bugs and understanding how users actually use the product. Alongside that, we need to define what success looks like for this phase. Then a soft launch is about releasing it to a smaller group or area to get even more insights before going all in. It's really important to keep a close eye on feedback, prioritize issues, and be prepared to make changes. Iteration is key. Okay, let's talk about API in platform product management. When you're handling these areas, you're essentially building the infrastructure that lots of other products rely on. It's a really crucial role. You're not just focused on one thing, you're shaping how many different teams build their own experiences. You'll be responsible for designing the API roadmap, keeping track of versions, and making sure developers have clear documentation. You also need to think about how all this fits into the larger platform architecture and make sure everything is secure and compliant. And don't forget about nurturing a healthy developer community. They're your biggest advocates. Finally, we want to keep an eye on key metrics like API usage, developer satisfaction, and overall platform stability. Okay, let's talk about how SaaS product management is a bit different. It's not just about building a great product, it's really about keeping customers happy and engaged over the long term. Because you're dealing with recurring revenue subscriptions, customer success becomes incredibly important. You need to be constantly analyzing how people are using your product, what's causing them to leave, churn, and figuring out ways to make it even better. SaaS is all about rapid iteration, releasing updates and new features quickly based on what you learn from your users. And of course, you'll be tracking specific numbers like monthly recurring revenue and customer lifetime value. Those are the metrics that really matter for SaaS. Okay, let's talk about mobile app product management. It's a really exciting area because mobile is such an integral part of people's lives. As a product manager here, you need to be laser focused on understanding your users, truly digging into what they want and how they use their phones. You'll be constantly making tough decisions about which features are most important, using frameworks like RISE to help you prioritize based on reach, impact, confidence, and effort. And don't forget /B testing, it's your superpower for quickly seeing what resonates with users. Finally, remember that iOS and Android have different characteristics, so you'll need to consider those platform-specific factors too. Let's talk about cloud product management. It's a really exciting area for PM right now, but it does require a slightly different approach than traditional product management. The key difference is that cloud products aren't just about building features and thinking about user workflows, they're deeply intertwined with the underlying infrastructure. You'll be dealing with things like scalability, how many users are hitting your system at once, and how everything is built. So, a good cloud PM needs to understand some basic technical concepts like cloud providers, AWS, Azure, GCP, and how API work. It's also crucial to have strong data analysis skills so you can monitor performance and identify areas for improvement. And finally, security is absolutely paramount in the cloud, so you need to be aware of potential vulnerabilities and how to mitigate them. Basically, it's a fantastic opportunity to combine your product sense with a growing technical understanding. Okay team, let's talk about taking our product global. International launches are a whole different ballgame than a domestic one. The first step is all about understanding where we're going, really digging into the local culture, who our competitors are, and what regulations we need to navigate. We can't just assume our marketing will automatically translate. It needs to be localized. Think about adapting the messaging, supporting local payment methods, and even adjusting things like date formats. Then, of course, legal compliance is paramount, making sure we're meeting all data privacy standards and product safety requirements in each country. It's a significant investment, but vital for success. Okay, let's talk about making sure our products are usable for everyone. Accessibility and compliance aren't just checkbooks, as they're really important parts of being a good product manager. We need to be aware of things like the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, which give us specific rules about how to make digital content accessible. There are also legal requirements we have to follow, like the EDA and GDPR, especially when it comes to data privacy. But more than that, let's think about all are users, not just those with obvious disabilities. Cognitive impairments, color blindness, hearing difficulties, it's a broad range. And don't rely on automated tools alone. Getting real feedback from diverse user groups is essential. Okay, let's talk about something super important for product managers: security and privacy by design. It's not just about adding a padlock icon to your app, it's about thinking proactively about security and privacy from the very start of a product. We need to constantly assess risks, only collect the data we really need, and look at technologies like anonymization to protect user information. Making sure our defaults are secure and complying with regulations like GDPR and CCPA is also key. It's all about building trust with your users. Okay, so let's talk about how we track whether people are actually using the features we build. It's not enough to just think a feature is great, we need proof. Tracking adoption and usage gives us real insights into whether our assumptions are correct. We want to know if it's really solving the problem we set out to solve, where users might be getting stuck, and which features are actually valuable to them. Key metrics include things like how many people try the feature in the first place, that's adoption rate, as well as looking at daily and weekly active users. Then, we need to see how often they're using it, and importantly, whether they're successfully completing their tasks when they do. Tools like Mixpanel and Amplitude can really help us with this tracking setup, focusing on defining clear events that represent user actions. Okay, let's talk about how product managers juggle revenue and costs. It's not just about building a great product, it's also about making sure that product is profitable for the company. We need to understand where our money comes from, things like subscriptions or maybe even advertising if we have an app. Then, we have to think about all the different expenses involved, which can be broken down into fixed costs like rent and salaries, and variable costs that change with how much we're selling, like customer acquisition or hosting fees. A really important metric to keep in mind is customer lifetime value versus customer acquisition cost, making sure you're getting more out of a customer than it costs to get them. Okay, so when it comes to reporting as a product manager, it's all about connecting the dots for your stakeholders. You'll want to focus on a small number of really important metrics, what we call KPI, that truly drive your product's success. Then distill those insights into clear, concise executive summaries. Don't just throw numbers at people, tell them a story. And finally, dashboards are incredibly useful for proactively monitoring performance. You can build different types of dashboards, strategic to see the big picture, and operational ones that zero in on specific areas or teams. Think about what your stakeholders need to know and visualize it effectively. Okay, let's talk about technical debt and how it relates to product management. Technical debt happens where we rush features out the door to meet deadlines, essentially taking shortcuts during development. It's not just about having messy code, it's a strategic challenge. We constantly face trade-offs. Do we prioritize getting something out quickly, even if it's not perfect? Or do we invest more time in quality and maintainability? We need to consider the balance between delivering features fast versus ensuring our product is stable over the long term. Think about speed versus quality, short-term gains versus long-term stability, and feature velocity versus how easy it will be to maintain the code down the road. A smart approach involves actively identifying debt hotspots, prioritizing what needs fixing most urgently, often focusing on critical areas like performance or security, and then scheduling dedicated time in future sprints to pay the debt back systematically. Okay, let's talk about integrating third-party services. As a product manager, you'll likely be dealing with API and SDK a lot. These are essentially the building blocks for connecting your product to other apps and platforms. Think of an API as an agreement, a set of rules that tells different applications how they can exchange information. An SDK is like a toolkit, offering ready-made code to make integration much easier. It's important to keep security top of mind, always validate those API keys. Also, you need to think about reliability and how the other services' performance might affect your product. Finally, data needs to be compatible, and you should have a plan for dealing with any errors that might happen. Okay, let's talk about managing vendors and partners, a really important skill for any product manager. Think of it this way, these relationships can be game changers for your product. We'll cover how to choose the right vendors, negotiate solid contracts, build strong ongoing relationships, and most importantly, make sure the goals align with what you're trying to achieve. It's not just about getting a good price, it's about building trust and collaboration. Okay, let's talk about how customer journey analytics can be a game changer for product managers. Basically, it's all about mapping out the entire experience your users have with your product, from when they first hear about you to when they become enthusiastic advocates. We often break this down into stages like awareness, where people discover your product; consideration, which is when they're evaluating their options; decision time, where they commit to buying; purchase, of course. Then we look at retention, keeping them happy and coming back for more; and finally advocacy, getting those users to spread the word. Different tools like Google Analytics or Mixpanel can help us track what's happening in each stage and identify areas for improvement. Think about it, a bottleneck in the consideration phase could be preventing sales. Okay, let's talk about keeping your product running smoothly. We're focusing on operational metrics and SLA today. These are super important for PM. Operational metrics give us a snapshot of how the product is actually performing day to day, things like how often it goes down, what kinds of errors we see, and how quickly things respond. SLA are essentially promises we make to our users about that performance. For instance, we might promise 99.9% uptime or a response time under 200 milliseconds. Tracking these metrics helps us spot problems, prioritize improvements, and prove that we're delivering the product people expect. Okay, let's talk about sunsetting products, essentially gracefully phasing them out. It's not just about pulling the plug. It's a strategic move that needs careful planning. First, we need to define why we're doing this. What are our criteria? Often, it's slow usage or an unsustainable maintenance burden. Then comes communication. You absolutely must be transparent with your users and give them plenty of lead time. And if a migration path exists, a way for people to move to a newer product, that's always a great option to minimize disruption. Okay, so as a product manager, it's really important to know who is involved with your product and how much sway they have. We start by identifying all the stakeholders, that's anyone affected or interested in what you're building. Think customers, internal teams, executives, the whole shebang. Then we map them using a simple two-scroll grid: influence and interest. High influence means they can really move things forward, while high interest means they want to stay informed. Focus on those high influence, high interest folks. They are your key partners. And finally, remember that different people need different kinds of information. Tailor your communication accordingly. Okay, so let's talk about budgeting and forecasting, absolutely critical for any product manager. First, we need to break down where our money is going. Think of it like a detailed list: development costs, covering things like salaries and software; marketing and sales expenses for getting the word out; operational costs like hosting your website or providing customer support; and then finally, R&D, those investments in future features and prototypes. Next up, we need to forecast how much money we're likely to make. This is where you pull on data and market research to predict sales. Don't just guess. Create a few scenarios: best case, worst case, and most likely. It helps with planning. Finally, you can build your budget either from the top down, starting with revenue projections and then allocating funds, or bottom up, detailing costs for each feature and adding them together. Do you have any questions about this process? Okay, so let's talk about how product managers really prove their worth through a killer portfolio. It's not just throwing projects together. Think of it as telling a compelling story about your skills and vision. You want to highlight the problems you tackled, the user stories you built, and specifically how you delivered results with measurable data. Really focus on what impact you had. And when applying for jobs, tailor that portfolio to match what the company is looking for. Now, managing multiple products. That's a whole different beast. It's all about making smart choices using frameworks like RISE or MoSCoW to figure out what gets your attention first, and allocating resources carefully. Don't forget to keep an eye on how things are connected. One product's delay can ripple through the entire system. Okay, let's talk about getting your product out there quickly and making sure it lands smoothly. As a product manager, time to market is huge. How fast can you deliver value to users? But speed isn't everything. We also need a solid release management process. This involves setting clear goals like shortening the development cycle, minimizing risks during releases, and focusing on features that will give us early wins. Think about prioritizing your backlog using frameworks like RISE or MoSCoW to really focus your efforts. And remember, continuous integration and delivery/CD are key. It's all about balancing speed with quality through careful planning, consistent execution, and constant monitoring after the release. Okay, let's talk about thinking bigger as a product manager. We often focus on our product itself, which is great. But to truly succeed, we need to zoom out and understand the ecosystem around it. That's all the people, companies, and technologies connected with your product. It's not just about what you sell, it's about how it fits into a larger network. Think of users beyond your direct customer base, strategic partners who can help you grow, and even understanding the broader competitive landscape, looking at other platforms that might offer similar benefits, even if they're in a different area. Then platform thinking is about creating something that others want to build on. Can your product be part of a larger system? How can you open it up for integration through API? And most importantly, what new value opportunities exist by participating in an ecosystem? Okay, let's talk about scaling your product, because building something great is only half the battle. As a product manager, you need to think about how your product will handle growth. It's not just about adding more features, it's about designing with scalability in mind from the start. We want to build modular systems where individual parts can be updated or scaled independently. Think API exposing your functionality through well-defined interfaces makes it easier to integrate with other services and allows you to expand beyond your initial product offering. Then there's data. Choosing the right database strategy is crucial, and for really big products, microservices might even be a good option. Ultimately, starting with scalability in mind will save you headaches down the road. Okay, let's talk about product risk management, a really important part of being a PM. Basically, it's all about figuring out what could potentially go wrong with your product and having plans to deal with it. We start by brainstorming all the possible risks, anything from technical difficulties down to competitor moves or even legal issues. Then, we assess each risk. How likely is it to happen? And if it does happen, how bad would it be? We use a simple scale: low, medium, or high for both likelihood and impact. Once we've identified and assessed the risks, we prioritize them, focusing on the ones that pose the biggest threat. Finally, we develop mitigation strategies, ways to either reduce the chances of the risk happening or lessen its impact if it does occur. And crucially, this isn't a one-time thing. You need to keep monitoring your risk list and updating your plans as things change. Okay, let's talk about negotiation and influencing skills, absolutely vital for any product manager. It's not just about getting your way, it's about understanding what everyone wants and finding solutions that work for everyone involved. First, really dig deep into the needs of your customer, your team, even your executives. Knowing their priorities is key. Then, build genuine relationships based on trust. When presenting an argument, frame it around the benefits the asterisk will see. And don't be afraid to compromise. Finding common ground and mutually beneficial solutions is where true success lies. Okay, let's talk about how product managers run really effective workshops and alignment sessions. The first thing is to be super clear on what you want to get out of the session. What's the objective? Then, a well-structured agenda keeps things moving smoothly. It's important to gather input from everyone involved, using techniques like brainstorming or voting. After that, it's about making sense of all those ideas and prioritizing them together. Frameworks like RICE can be really helpful. Finally, make sure you document everything and communicate the results clearly so everyone is on the same page. Okay, let's talk about some crucial tools for product managers. We're going to cover Jira, Trello, and Product Board. Jira is a really robust system for tracking issues and managing projects, especially if you're using agile development. Think of it as your central hub for bug reports and feature requests. Then there's Trello, super visually intuitive with its Kanban boards. It's fantastic for keeping track of what needs to be done and who's responsible. Finally, Product Board is all about strategy and roadmaps, helping you build consensus around priorities and gather customer feedback. Don't get overwhelmed. Think about which tool fits best your team's process. Okay, let's talk about product ethics and how it fits into being a great product manager. It's really important to think beyond just what a feature does. We need to ask ourselves, what impact does this have? We need to actively look for biases in our data and designs, protect user privacy, and make sure everyone can use our products easily. Before launching anything new, it's smart to do an impact assessment. Consider the wider consequences. Responsible innovation isn't about being slow, but about building better, more inclusive and beneficial products. Let's talk about product documentation as a seriously important part of being a great product manager. Think of it as your product instruction manual, but way more than that. The key is consistency. You want everyone using the same language and style throughout all your docs. Clarity and simplicity are also vital. No one wants to wade through complicated jargon. Always write for who needs to read it. Developers need different information than a new user. Structure matters too. Think tutorials, facts, reference guides make it easy to find what people need. And finally, don't let your documentation become stale. It's an ongoing process. Update it as your product evolves and listen to feedback. Okay, let's talk about getting new users really into your product, not just signing up. We often see a big gap between sign up and regular usage, which is known as the activation gap. The first step is to figure out what active actually means for your product, what key behaviors show someone's truly engaging with it. Then we need to optimize that initial experience. That means things like crafting a welcoming email series that gently guides them through setup and highlights the core benefits. Interactive tutorials are fantastic. They let users see how things work instead of just reading about them. And finally, targeted guidance using smart triggers to deliver help only when it's needed, preventing overwhelm. Okay, let's talk about product-led growth or PLG. It's a really different way of thinking about how to build and grow your product. Instead of relying heavily on traditional sales and marketing, PLG focuses on building product that naturally attracts users, gets them hooked, and keeps them coming back. Think of it like creating a self-growing ecosystem. The core strategies revolve around things like offering a free version, encouraging referrals through viral loops, making it super easy for new users to start using your product, truly minimizing friction and providing helpful content that guides them along the way. Ultimately, PLG is all about prioritizing customer retention because happy, engaged users are far more likely to recommend your product to others. Okay, let's talk about conversion rate optimization. As a product manager, it's your job to make sure people are actually doing what you want them to do on your product, whether that's buying something, signing up, or just exploring. CRO is all about figuring out how to get more of those desired actions from the visitors coming to your site. It's not just guessing, it's about using data and testing different versions of your pages to see what works best. We'll cover some key techniques like /B testing, which compares two versions side by side, heat maps that show where users are clicking or scrolling, and usability tests where you watch real people use your product. Okay, let's talk about data literacy. It's a huge deal for product managers. It's essentially becoming fluent in the language of your product and your users. Think of it like this: you don't just see charts, you understand what they're telling you. We're talking about knowing key metrics, like how many people are actually converting when they visit our website, or how much value a customer brings to us over time. It also means asking why behind the numbers. Why did conversion rates drop last month, and translating those insights into clear recommendations for your product team. Basically, it's about telling a story with data so you can make better decisions. Okay, let's talk about how product managers tell the story of their products. It's really more than just listing features. It's about connecting with your audience and showing them why what you're building matters. Think of it like a mini movie. You need to establish the problem your product is solving, clearly show how it addresses that issue, highlight the benefits for the user, and maybe even introduce a representative person who will use it. Ultimately, people connect with stories, not just lists of technical details, so focusing on those key elements makes your pitch much more impactful. Okay, let's talk about leading product teams that aren't all in the same room. Remote and distributed teams are super common now, and it's really important for a PM to set them up for success. The first thing is clear communication. Think Slack, Asana, Jira, whatever gets the information flowing effectively. Also, don't skimp on documenting everything. A shared roadmap, requirements, decisions make sure everyone can find what they need. Building trust is huge too. Create a space where people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and ideas without worrying about being judged. Finally, schedule regular one-on-ones with each team member to check in, understand how things are going, and tackle any challenges head-on. Okay, so let's talk about how product managers and customer success teams need to work together seamlessly. It's super important that both are aligned on the same goals. We're looking at metrics like customer retention rate, basically how long customers stick around with your Net Promoter Score, which tells us how happy people are recommending your product, customer lifetime value, which shows how much revenue a customer brings in over time, and support ticket volume along with resolution times, giving clues about product usability. The most important thing is to have open conversations between the PM and CS teams so that you can tackle issues proactively based on data and prioritize what's next for your roadmap. Let's talk about enterprise product management. It's a different beast than building apps for individual users. When you're dealing with an entire company's product portfolio, things get much more complex. We're looking at bigger scopes, way more stakeholders from executives to sales teams, and engineering and strategic alignment is key. Instead of just focusing on what the users want we need to think about how a new feature or product actually benefits the business as a whole. You'll often see frameworks like stage gate processes for making sure things are properly vetted, portfolio management to ensure you're investing in the right things, and value stream mapping to really understand how everything fits together. Okay, so let's talk about how to really know who you're building a product for. Market segmentation is all about taking that huge pool of potential customers and dividing them into smaller groups. Think of it like sorting people into different teams based on what they have in common. These teams are called segments, and they could be based on things like where someone lives, what they enjoy doing, or how often they buy similar products. Segmenting helps us focus our marketing efforts and make sure we're speaking directly to the people who will actually care about what we're building. Okay, let's talk about how product managers can be categorized, and it's not always a strict division. You often hear of technical PMs versus non-technical PMs. Technical PM have a strong background in the technical side of things. They really dig into how something is built. They work closely with engineers, translating user needs into detailed specs and making sure everything is technically feasible. Think about someone who's previously worked as an engineer that's often a good fit for this role. On the other hand, non-technical PM focus on the bigger picture why we're building something, what we want to achieve, and how it aligns with the overall product strategy. They're masters of user research, market analysis, and crafting a compelling vision for the product. Okay, so let's talk about staying sharp as a product manager. It's not enough to just know your current product. You need to be continuously learning and always aware of what's bubbling up in the industry. We want to focus on a few key areas. First, constantly updating your understanding of product design and user experience, keeping an eye on accessibility guidelines. Then there's technology. Things like AI and blockchain are changing fast, so it's important to be curious about how they might affect your product area. And don't forget market research, always analyzing what competitors are doing and gathering customer feedback. Finally, solidifying your knowledge of agile methodologies will help you deliver products more efficiently. There are some great resources out there like Product Plan and the Mind the Product community to keep you informed. Okay, let's talk about nailing those product manager interviews. A huge part of it is the case study. They really want to see how you think through a challenge. Don't get caught up in trying to come up with the perfect answer. Instead, focus on showing them your process. The STAR method: situation, task, action, result is a great way to structure your response and walk them through your thinking. It's all about being clear, logical, and demonstrating that you can identify the problem, define what needs to be achieved, brainstorm solutions, evaluate them, and ultimately recommend a path forward. Remember to always ask clarifying questions first. Understanding the situation is key. And most importantly, practice these scenarios until they become second nature. Thank you for watching.